in rotation one with Kayleigh Akana getting us squared away for our first match on Big Ten Network this year. Score's first set goes to Lexi Sun on the pins. And Aaliyah Carter gets a strong swing off. And Nebraska takes the first point of the night. Or Kansas State takes the first point of the night after she chips it off the block.
You're going to hear Aaliyah Carter's name all night long. Remember her name. Last night she did so well for them, and expect her to get a lot more balls tonight.
So the libero for Kansas State is Mackenzie Morris. And she serves at Kubik with an ace.
A little uncharacteristic of Kubik. She is a serve target typically, but really, really good at handling those passes. But that's a really tough serve right in that seam. You see it get her on that right side. Just couldn't handle it.
Morris is the best server for Kansas State. She was their top server last year, and that one sails on her. First point of the night for the Huskers.
When you're playing a team like Nebraska, you got to really come out strong on the service line. You don't want to miss a lot of serves. Remember, they're very low error, so you want to match that. But at the same time, you got to put in some bullets if you want to have some success.
And a service error for the freshman Kennedy Orr, making it 3-1 K-State. So the topic for both teams this week coming out of their exhibitions, Emily, was play clean, eliminate the errors, and maybe some nerves in the first 4 points in the opening set.
I can imagine a little bit of nerves, a bigger game, especially on this K-State side. You know, Nebraska's used to playing in a big gym like this, but sometimes those errors are just come with the game.
There's some off speed from Krause, Lindsay Krause, part of this very talented freshman class. Top 3 recruits in the nation, including Krause, coming in for the Huskers this year.
Yeah, she's part of that #1 recruiting class. She had a great match last night, her debut. Coach Cook said she was a little bit nervous during that scrimmage, but she came out last night, didn't look at it at all, looked really settled in.
What the first ball of the night being set to her last night. 1 swing, 1 kill. And that got the career started for Krause.
Yeah, sometimes you expect, and you got a freshman up there, sometimes you might think, okay, they're going to bomb it 50 feet out of bounds, a little bit nervous, but she looked awesome all night long.
She bombed it, but in a good way.
Yeah.
Lexi Sun with the service for the Huskers. And the block put up by Kubik and Caffey. On the other side, it's Krause and Caffey combining.
You see Kayla Caffey going to one side, stealing that block up, going right to the other side. Krause might have got the block, but that was a really, really good play by Caffey, moving over well. Krause just shuts it down, turns that hand back in, looking really strong up front. And she's got to be strong this whole match, especially against Aaliyah Carter. These freshman opposites have
conversation. We'll show your pets, show where you're watching the game tonight, and it's so good to have our fans back, both in arena and on social media.
Like you said, the B1G block party, a lot of babies, a lot of pets watching volleyball from home, so get those tweets in. We already joined the conversation a bit, tweeting out a pic, so join it with us.
Yeah, I think you might have had the first B1G block party tweet of the year, so congrats on that.
I'm always tuning in.
There's Kubik out of the timeout for Nebraska. And right back to Carter. And another dig from Rodriguez, and it's put back down for K-State to stop the 6-0 run.
you saw Kubik come in all the way to that opposite side to get a triple block off. And so when you have that overdig, you have nobody there in the middle to kind of secure that block. So a kind of risky move, bringing 3 blockers over, but sometimes it does pay off.
It was Katie Fernholz with the kill. She's got to have a big night. Her and Hollywood in the middle. And you see Nebraska go right down the middle with Kathy for her second kill.
Kathy's so good at hitting those really sharp angles, and she hits them with so much speed. You see a really good pass from Rodriguez. Turns that thumb down, really hard ball to block. She's facing the left side, hits to the right. Kayla Caffey looking amazing tonight to start, and they're getting a lot more middle production, which is something that we got a little bit of last night with Nebraska, but not enough.
Of course, without Lauren Stivrins. So Schwarzenbach and Caffey become the 2 in the middle for Nebraska. And that's off the block on the angle for Kubik.
And Katie Fernholz up there for K-State. Normally a really good blocker, good at pushing over. You saw her kind of get a little bit up and dive in that hole rather than bringing it back. Kubik is really good at hitting those sharp angles, so you want to see that middle kind of drop their left hand and seal that angle up.
That finds the back. A strong swing from Holly Bonde. Emily, who came in the second set yesterday and was big in K-State, winning the final 3 sets.
Yeah, K-State started off with a different outside, but ended up going to Bonde, and she had so much production, looked really good. On that last play, though, I got to shout out that pass. It was a really, really good one, and be on the lookout for K-State tonight to pass really, really well. That's something that they are good at, to get that middle going a little more.
Well, Bonde going right back to the well with her 2 kills in a row.
Speak and she will show up.
There's her head coach, Susie Fritz. Timeline for her for getting the K-State job, very similar to John Cook on the other side. Cook in his 22nd year, Fritz in her 21st, coming from a great family of coaches. Coaching for over 2 decades now in Manhattan. Into the block, and it's off the double.
Love that assist from Lexi Sun, something that you might not see a lot, but Lexi Sun steps in there. She sets almost a near perfect ball every single time, gets a lot of height on it, and Kubik saw it go up. Saw the hand turn out just a little bit to turn it out on that outside.
We've seen those 2 combined twice now in this first set.
Yeah, Lexi Sun looks really comfortable taking that second ball.
There's Rodriguez getting up there in the front to keep it alive. And then second contact, Rodriguez there again. And Kansas State takes the point on the double.
Lexi Rodriguez, though, come on. Picking up that setter dump, left hand. I mean, that's such a hard dig to make. Really good read by her. She knows that scouting report. She knows that K-State setter. If she's tight, she's gonna dump, getting in there with the left hand. Something you don't see a lot of times from a freshman libero, but Lexi Rodriguez just looks amazing doing it. It makes it look easy.
She does. She does. And, of course, just her second college match. Kenzie Knuckles was the libero the last 2 years for Nebraska. And there's the 6'5" Schwarzenbach out of the middle for John Cook. As we told you, year number 22. Great talking to him this week. He was in mid-season form, talking about the popcorn in Devaney Center, talking about coming up with ideas in the middle of the night. You could tell that he was super curious about what this young team would put out this weekend.
I mean, he has the #1 recruiting class coming in, and said they've just integrated so well. He said normally you really hope to not even have to play your freshmen, but he said these freshmen can play, and they are playing, and they're doing so well.
They are, and with that young lineup, it was funny. He has the podcast, the Conversations with the Cooks, with Lauren, and she was giving him a hard time this week, saying, I am praying for you this week. I am praying, kind of sarcastically.
He didn't know what he was going to do with that lineup. He had 2 setters that could easily be the starting setter, had an opposite position to fill, and they started off with that 6-2, so had 2 freshmen in there right away. Coach Cook had so much on his hands to deal with. He was like, hopefully it comes to me in the middle of the night. I don't know what I'm going to do with this lineup.
Well, to begin it, it was Orr off the bench last night. It was Ani Evans getting the start at setter in the opening match for Nebraska against Colgate. But it's Orr tonight, at least so far. There's Warner, the Florida transfer, getting stuffed by Sun and Caffey.
Sun and Caffey, a blocking combo that you just love to see. They both get so high, so far over the net, and just straight down. I mean, how are you going to hit around that? Warner's going to have a tough time on that opposite with Lexi Sun up there.
As far as size, that's an even matchup. They're both 6'2". There is the matchup again, and Warner gets the better of it this time. And Caffey kept it up. There's Carter straight down with a hammer.
Really good veteran swing from Carter. She's only a sophomore, but she's going up there and taking absolute rips, which is something K-State has to do this night. I mean, they have to take really big swings, especially those out-of-system ones, but Carter finds the hole and puts it right down.
Again, the reigning Big 12 freshman of the year, 4 kills per set last year for Carter. There's Caffey. One high leaper on one side of the net, Carter, and on the other side, Caffey with some great spring.
Kayla Caffey looking good on that slide. Not something we see a lot of, especially last year with Stivrins in there, but Kayla Caffey has a lethal slide as well, sees the court so well in that gap. Looking really, really good up front.
Moore gives the point away on the service error. You know, Caffey came in from Missouri to Nebraska and, you know, was older, but was still a new player, trying to get acclimated how she fit in with Lauren Stivrins last year. These first 2 matches, she has the look of a player that's very free.
And she started off last season a little quieter and then really built up as she went, finishing the season just an absolute powerhouse up there. It was so much fun to watch her. She gets so excited. It was a perfect compliment to Stivrins.
Carter has the swing and finds a seam.
That's a really impressive shot. Really, really impressive shot. You see her kind of take a little bit of speed off of it, turns that thumb down, an out-of-system swing, already hard to hit. Basically gets it right on that tee. A hard ball for Rodriguez to dig.
Krause coming off the pin, and she's got another kill here in the first set.
Lindsay Krause's about to have an amazing career with the Huskers. I mean, you know, you talk about this freshman class, the #1 recruiting class in the country. She was the 2nd overall prospect coming in, and they had numbers 1 and 3 as well. So she is just a compliment to such a good freshman class that John Cook put together.
And that's out on the serve for Sun. So Nebraska team coming off another Elite 8 appearance. They're 9th in a row, which is longest in the nation, but a lot of the talk in the offseason was not about being satisfied, obviously. That is not the standard, is getting to Elite 8s with this program.
This program's been to the Elite 8 for the last 9 seasons. So while some programs might think that is the absolute world, they are not satisfied unless they are the last one standing, holding up that trophy. So yeah, you talk about being hungry. This team is so hungry, and John Cook alluded to it earlier in the week, but they have been training so hard over the summer. Some teams might have taken a little bit off, given their players some time off, but they have been going at it.
Called it the mother of all summers, with an edge.
With an edge.
4 sets up, Caffey, and another first set kill for Kayla Caffey, rising high.
Rising high, and I want to talk about that dig from Lexi Rodriguez. She doesn't just dig the ball, but she digs it in such a good place to get that middle involved. You want to get those middles involved in transition. So from the dig, you got to lead your setter up a little bit to have Kayla Caffey move in and have all angles available. So Lexi Rodriguez doing so well defensively.
And she gets a tough serve off, too. And she digs that ball. So Rodriguez all over the place, but that pushed just a touch wide off of the pin to bring K-State within 2 off of the push from Kubik.
Alexi Rodriguez, like I just said, going all over the court. She was a #1 DS in this recruiting class total, 19 and 20 Illinois Gatorade Player of the Year. I mean, she has just done an outstanding job in these first 2 matches in her collegiate career.
There's Krause sticking it inside the back row.
Sometimes with Nebraska, you know, it's the Sun show, but tonight it's definitely the Krause show. I mean, she's getting up there and just finding all the angles. I mean, look at that swing right between the 2 blockers.
Less puns available with the Krause show versus the Sun show. There's Bonde again. Had a couple kills after she entered. And right back to her. And that floats on her.
We haven't seen many attacks from Carter in the back row. I think that's something that K-State kind of needs a little bit more of, and that might just be defensively. They're not there right now. But if they can get Carter going in that back row, have a little more production. She's already getting a lot of balls, but all the way around getting her the ball is really going to help K-State out.
And she was setting up for the back row attack there. She is rejected.
That triple block, you have Kubik coming all the way inside the court. We'll see it again right here. She steps in because there's no hitter in her area. The triple block up, I mean, you can't hit around 3 blockers unless you're gonna tip it. That's just an incredible scouting report by Nebraska.
So let's see how K-State adjusts to the strong block.
So much focus into the little things of this program.
Emily, interestingly enough, the last time they didn't get there, they lost to K-State in the second rounds. 2011, they lost at the Coliseum to Kansas State. 5-set thriller that night.
And Coach Fritsch touched on it. We asked her favorite Nebraska memory, and that instantly came to her mind.
Morris that had the first contact for Kansas State. And Krause with the bullet, but that is out. They did get touched, so point Nebraska.
She can do it in the front row. She can do it in the back row. We got her now on the service line. See if there's a touch there. Yeah.
Yeah. So 5 kills in this first set for the freshman Krause. Attempted line and pulled it.
And that's really good block setup by the 2 up front there. We have Bree Orr setting up the block in a way where if she's going to hit it outside of her, she's going to hit it out. So really good job blocking by those 2 up front.
Yeah, she saw the triple block right before we went to break, and then another good one posted by the Huskers.
Tried to take that one cross. Said, okay, let me try line, and hard to get by that Husker defense.
Husker lead is 7. And there's the back row attack you're calling for, but Carter pulls that one as well.
They're getting her going. She's warming up a bit back there. It takes a second usually to get into a rhythm, especially in that back court, but I'm sure we'll see it a lot more tonight and kind of forcing it, especially on transition.
Kansas State did start slow yesterday. They dropped the opening set. And there's an ace for Krause. 5 kills, now an ace in set number 1.
What can't she do? What can't she do?
Maybe ask her to set next?
I'm sure she's probably pretty good at that one as well.
And she thumps that one long.
Seeing some big smiles from her. Coach Cook was saying she was a little bit nervous starting out the season, but she looks so comfortable now.
It was funny last night. They have the tradition where they throw the mini volleyballs into the crowd with starting lineups. She had kind of a grimace when she threw her, left it a little bit short.
Probably those nerves kicking in a little bit.
And that does stick inside there for Kansas State, so still breathing here after the kill from Nemhard, very talented sophomore that had 3 kills per set as a freshman.
Yeah, they have her back in there. They pulled her last night, but put her back in to try to get a little more production on that outside. Like we said, it's hard to get by that Husker block, but you got to try anything you can.
Kubik into a strong block, and Sun got it twice. And that's 2 in a row for Kansas State, creeping within 6 here.
Hey, they're still in this game. If they keep the ball clean, keep it on the court, keep it on Nebraska's side, they have a chance to pull this one out. Got to play near perfect, but they could do it.
Serve was short from the setter, Adams Kaonohi, and that brings up set point number 1 for Nebraska. Warner with the tip, coverage on the pancake from Rodriguez. And off the block to to seal set 1 for Lexi Sun.
We got a veteran and a freshman working together there. A pancake, a really, really good dig from her. You see her so far back, and she just gets in there with her hand.
Lexi Rodriguez set it up. Couple of the freshmen shining for the Huskers in set 1. Krause had 5 kills and an ace. Then Rodriguez set up Sun. And Nebraska takes set 1.
In one of your opening weekends, that is so beyond impressive. And you know, you see Lexi Rodriguez in the backcourt too, just a testament to how good this freshman squad really is.
So that's Rodriguez. She's got a sister that played D1 before her at Illinois State. Her sister Kaylee Martin won a Missouri Valley title as an outside hitter. She's holding down in the back row for Nebraska. So off and rolling in set 2 with Aaliyah Carter, the back for a cubic div. That's Warner on the opposite. Coverage from Rodriguez and then pushed back through the block. And Kansas State takes the opening point of set 2 with Kaylee Hollywood.
Kaylee Hollywood doing such a good job. She sees that ball's tight. She goes up a little bit after Kennedy Orr to kind of beat her on that joust. And Kennedy Orr's really good blocker. She's really good offensively. So to beat her on that is really good on Hollywood's part.
Lexi Sun was turned away but got it off the hands.
Lexi Sun kind of acting as the captain right now. You know, we have Nicklin Hames out, Lauren Stivrins out, Kenzie Knuckles hasn't got in the game, the 3 captains for Nebraska. So Lexi Sun kind of using her experience, bringing these girls together.
We asked John Cook, would there be replacement titles for the captains without Hames and Stivrins? And no was the answer, but you mentioned it, Sun is taking on some of that. Warner splits the back row there with the kill for Kansas State. This is before the pregame. There's Lauren Stivrins on the left, the All-American middle, the All-American setter, Nicklin Hames. So they're still involved. John Cook called them All-American cheerleaders and All-American floor wipers now, but still contributing from the sideline and going to the captain meeting before the match.
And that's exactly what you want out of leaders. You know, you want them to kind of push everyone to be better and be big cheerleaders. Right up for Morris right there.
What an interruption to that storyline. Yeah. Great dig for Morris.
Sometimes those good digs, you know, we don't talk about liberos all the time, but sometimes you just got to play that you got to see again. I mean, the reaction time. Haven't talked about her too much tonight, but she is an all-star libero for this team.
That was the 2 outsides for Kansas State as freshmen last year that got a lot of attention. But Morris, the freshman, with another one, sprawling with one hand. And 4 contacts on Kansas State's side, giving Nebraska a set 2 lead.
Morris trying to keep her K-State team going defensively, doing really good back there, really scrappy. You're seeing players a lot of times that are liberos. Sometimes they put them in middle back, the scrappier ones, the ones that can get to those corners and react really quickly. And Morris is really good at that.
Middle ball there. And a net violation on Nebraska ties it up at 3. You know, the 2 liberos in this match, the starters have combined experience of 17 total matches, including tonight, but they're putting on a show early against some experienced hitters.
Yeah, sometimes you got liberos who take a while to kind of get used to the ball and the speed of the ball, but now when you have liberos like these, you know, Lexi Rodriguez is stepping in and she's already somehow used to the speed of the game. You have someone like Aaliyah Carter on the other side, and she's just digging her up, making it look so easy.
Not one short after the ace from Jackie Smith. Another one of those older players for Kansas State in the back, the only senior Smith has never been a starter for Kansas State, but has played a lot over 4 years.
Yeah, and Coach Fritz had nothing but nice things to say about her. I mean, she just talked about her leadership and her ability to bring this team together as their lone senior on that leadership council, which includes 3 of those players. Just a really good mentor for this entire team that is really, really young.
Jackie Smith, 6 in black for Kansas State. Waiting the serve from Lexi Sun. It is Smith on the receiving end of it. And Carter dug by Sun. Kubik into the cross court. And Carter twisting it around the block. But Orr was there. And Kubik down the line. Smith keeps it up. And Carter out of system. Rodriguez there. Joust at the net. And K-State reloads with Carter. And she tucks it inside to make it 5-5.
One of the better rallies we've seen tonight. A lot of them have ended soon, but so much good out-of-system play by both sides. You see 12 in black with a good set. Lexi Sun keeping it up. So many out-of-system swings, but Aaliyah Carter stays in the play, takes a really hard rip, something that they got to keep doing tonight.
You mentioned 12 in black. Lauren Hinkle had the first one there. And another termination for Kansas State to take a lead here in the second set. That's Holly Bonde again.
Seems like Coach Fritz might have gotten under their skin a little, pushed them to really come out this set hard. They kind of got punched in that first set, but they're coming back strong.
Bonde's made a steady rise in her career. Rises over the back from Carter. And all knotted at 6 in set 2.
Something that K-State really has to do well tonight is keeping those errors low, especially on the kill side and the serve side. They already have 8 kill errors off of 43 attempts, so pretty high error there. You don't want to see that, but in order to beat a team like Nebraska, the number 5 ranked team in the country, you got to be a little more low error.
Well, Susie Fritz said that her offense isn't terribly grooved in yet. Those were her words after their preseason exhibition against Kansas City. And the word that kept coming up was clean, clean, clean. Gotta be cleaner. Kubik off the Orr set. Rolling along the tape. And Bonde with a push, but range from Sun. Kubik off the net. Bonde had the first contact. And a spinner dug out by Rodriguez.
Really good one-on-one block there, lined up perfectly to that. We have a veteran hitter. You see her really push over and get that right hand down. Incredible way to get over that net. Love that angle.
Or for Schwarzenbach. Great dig by Fernholz. That's a middle. Back there digging it out. And scramble for Kansas State. And they can't squeak it over on the third contact from Carter.
Love when a middle gets a dig back there. And as a hitter, you always kind of want to hit to that middle. They're not the best defender out there, so you got to really find their angles there. But Fernholz stepping in and getting a really crucial dig when they needed it.
Turn around to your back row and say, hey, I can get down to the floor too.
Come on.
And there's the strong block of the net again for Kubik and Schwarzenbach.
I mean, such a good block combo up there. Schwarzenbach did such a good job last night of sealing those up, but Kubik, you see her make a really big aggressive move and really dive back into that hole. She knows Hollywood's coming in on that slide and likes to rip it cross court, so she dives back in to get that one.
First contact came from Morris. Looked like it was off the head of Orr. And Nebraska ends up taking the point, but that looked painful for Orr up there on the block.
Sometimes on the block and your hands are too far apart, square to the face. Square to the face. But if it's up, it's up.
Let's see if she can select out a hitter after taking the shot. A little strong in the pass from Morris. but Kansas State ties it up after Schwarzenbach came in there and jousted away.
Yeah, I mean, this K-State setter, Tayana Adams-Kahonoe, she loves to dump it to those deep corners. So if you're Nebraska, you really want to get up high, not necessarily low, because she will go right over you. So a really good job on that block, but just didn't have enough to keep it in the court.
Schwarzenbach coming around and slamming it down. 1-point lead, Nebraska, set 2.
I mean, it's fun to see these middles on the slide. You normally see it from Stivrins, but man, Schwarzenbach and Caffey have been lethal on this slide, hitting it right down. K-State's block has got to come in the court a little bit more in order to stop it, but man, Nebraska's middles are looking good.
Coming from 2 different looks, too. Caffey is shorter and springier, and Schwarzenbach big and long at 6'5". Good middles on the other side, too. Kaylee Hollywood with another kill. So this is similar to what we saw yesterday from Kansas State. Slow out of the gates, a little better in set 2 to win it. And by the end, they dominated in set 4.
Yeah, one of those teams better as you go on, which against a team like Nebraska is not necessarily going to work. But if they can turn it on now, they do have a chance to take this second set and really keep going with that momentum.
Crafty on the off speed from Lexi Sun.
And that's something that Lexi Sun is so good at. She is a veteran hitter. She's been there. This is her 5th year now. She knows when to take a big swing, but she also knows when to take a little bit off, get a little shoddy. You know, sometimes you don't have that big swing and you got to just put it in play. And she finds a spot on the court where it's going to fall.
Kaylee Akana with a heavy serve ties it up at 11. Hey, Wednesday on the Big Ten Network, don't miss an all-new At the Net, the show that profiles the people and personalities that make the Big Ten the nation's best volleyball conference. At the Net, Wednesday at 7:30 Eastern on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Back throw for Kubik. And blistering ball from Kubik. Has Nebraska back in front, and a back and forth second set.
Yeah, pretty back and forth, and you see Nebraska using that back row a little bit more than they did during that first set, and it's really working for them. It seems like K-State's defense doesn't exactly know where to go. Sometimes they got to block her up, sometimes too, making it pretty hard on those defenders to get around.
Carter off speed. Oh, what a dig. But an overdig led to a Warner swing. Kubik kept it up. And then another heavy swing from Sun was kept off the floor by Kansas State. And then Carter puts it down. What a point.
What a point. You saw Kubik take that dig with her shoulder. Sometimes it's on your platform. Like we said earlier, sometimes it's on your head, sometimes it's on your shoulder. But Kennedy Orr, an incredible up. Kubik taking it off her shoulder. Somehow still sort of a perfect dig.
And tremendous work from the freshman setter, Orr. And Carter put it away. And we've got our 11th tie in the second set. And Fernholz coming around.
Fernholz putting some power behind that one. We haven't seen her had a really powerful swing yet, but that slide, man, if they can get her going on that more consistently, especially in transition, they're going to be hard to beat. She looks pretty locked in.
She does. She's got a look in her eye. 2019 Gatorade Player of the Year in South Dakota, Katie Fernholz. There's Krause looking for a touch, didn't come. So this match is Kansas State's biggest lead. It was 3-1 in the opening set. Leading by 2, trying to get even with Nebraska on the road. And Jackie Smith short on the serve.
Yeah, Jackie Smith, such a good server for this team. One of the reasons why they're so lethal is from that serve. And Jackie Smith, for the most part, always puts in a really consistent serve. You see her there. She's like, I knew that one. Come on.
Big personality, Jackie Smith. There's Carter. Swerves it off the block. Rodriguez over there. And Krause off speed and kept alive. Lauren Hinkle again getting down to the floor. Kubik over the top and ties it up.
Kubik saw that defender was so far back, so she just gives it a little dink right over that block and hits the floor pretty nice. That's what makes Kubik so good. She's a lot like Lexi Sun. She knows when to take a hard rip, and she also knows when to put a little tip in, make a little shot.
When to dink it.
When to dink it.
Lexi Sun's serve is sent over by Morris. And Carter getting up. She is in the air for a long time. Krause turned away. And in the middle, it's Katie Fernholz. We were talking about is locked in. She's got Kansas State ahead at our timeout. And the eye black is out. We've missed you too, volleyball baby. I like that spirit from Bianca Potts. And of course, 7,000 to 8,000 in there. It's tonight here in Lincoln, and so good to have them back. The last week or so, I've had 3 opportunities to see the Huskers in person, the red-white scrimmage last weekend, and of course last night against Colgate, then again tonight.
I mean, what team other than Nebraska gets 8,000 fans to a scrimmage? To a team scrimmage, they had 8,000 fans in there. These Husker Nation, they're just incredible. Make this place electric.
Kenzie Knuckles in the back row for Nebraska, one of the 3 captains. She's number 2 in white. And there's Kayla Caffey down the middle to tie it up.
Looks like John Cook got him fired up a little bit. Caffey comes in and absolutely bombs one.
So 6 kills for Caffey. Goes along with 6 for Kubik to tie for the team lead. And Rodriguez serves away to Morris. And on second contact, pushed over. There's Fernholz wrapping around on a set from Adams Kaonohi one more time.
We said she had that look in her eye earlier. She used it right there. Really good cross-court shot on that slide. I mean, she's hitting up.
She is, you're right. 4 kills on 7 swings. Feels like she's swung it a little bit more than that tonight.
Definitely this set. She's really going off.
There's Kubik, kill number 7 for her.
Something to look for right now. We have Kenzie Knuckles back row, and part of the reason why they made the switch from liberos was because Kenzie Knuckles actually is a really good hitter back there. You might see her get a few sets, something that definitely Nebraska fans are not used to seeing a DS hit, but she's got an arm on her.
The Yorktown fans back in Indiana know all about that. Great outside hitter, won 2 state championships as a hitter. Of course, she was the libero for Nebraska the last 2 years. It's Kenzie Knuckles. Or with the back set, and Krause just a little bit short off the top. Kept up. And Nebraska still fighting at 16-16. Kubik slices one. Great job by Smith. But still alive. And punch through the middle and down finally. And scramble of a point.
You talk about staying in plays, just keeping the ball up, and that's something we saw on both sides during this. I mean, you got a one-arm punch, barely getting it over about 3 times during that rally. Some really good defense on both sides right there, and you see Kubik going up. Really strong shot, and they just can't get it over.
You could see it in her eyes and her face. She thought it was down.
She thought it was down.
Then there's the surprise second look of, oh, not my 8th kill? Not yet, anyway. Schwarzenbach shoves it through the middle, and Nebraska up by 2.
Really good dig again by Kenzie Knuckles. We talked about one of the reasons why they moved her to middle is because she's so scrappy. She's good at playing those corners. So we saw a good high shot earlier that she is easily getting, tracking down, running to it, makes it look really, really easy.
And John Cook compared that to
those top 4 teams you see there with Purdue and Ohio State coming in, but it is going to be one of the best years of Big Ten volleyball ever.
Also a shameless plug for you. We've got Dana Retke and Stephanie Samity coming up later tonight. We talked with both of them this week.
Talked with both of them this week. They were so excited to play. They have a really big matchup. They're both playing number 10 Baylor. We saw Minnesota fall to them last night, but Dana Retke said they are so ready with that Wisconsin team to take on Baylor again. It's going to be a fun one tonight. We got 2 more matches for you, so definitely stick around for those because they will be good ones.
Big 10, Big 12 challenge. And reason Kansas State has stuck around and has a chance to get this even, the block has been terrific in the second set.
The block has really come alive. I think they've figured out Nebraska's movements and who's getting set and when. A really good job by Coach Susie Fritz in knowing the scouting report and really getting those blockers tuned in.
That is just a touch out from Schwarzenbach. And Emily, we are tied again. 15 ties in this second set.
I don't know if Nebraska planned on being this close with K-State, but K-State definitely planned on being this close with Nebraska. You talked about how they've come alive in the second set offensively and defensively. If they can keep the ball in the court, they have a really good chance here.
Got to stop Kubik, though. Morris did her best, but that ball's slicing into the crowd.
Slicing into the crowd. I mean, Kubik just put so much behind that. I can't imagine that many people other than Mackenzie Morris could really get a good dig on that anyway.
That was not a little dink. That was
not a little dink.
It was a heavy swing from Maddie Kubik.
I'm regretting saying that.
Kubik just missed the line and out on the service error to tie us one more time in the second set.
A lot of times late in sets, you will see a lot of serving errors, but that's just because you have to put in such a hard serve to finish. You don't want to go back and put in a lob because the other team's going to shove it right back in your face. You've got to put in a really tough serve, but you really do got to keep it in. Like I said, if K-State can be clean in these last 6 points of the game, I think they have a really good chance here.
Second contact came from Orb, and then Carter slams it down and out.
Carter's switching up her shots a little bit. We've seen her go cross-court a lot tonight, but that ball gets out in the line, and she's really good at turning that back, seeing where the blockers are, but just missed that by a hair.
This has the feel of 27-25, 26-24, something in that range. Akano with the service. Looking for Warner. Turned away, but out. Caffey and Son came over, and a big swing from Haley Warner brings it to 20-20.
Haley Warner, the lefty up there, kind of hard to block her, so I see why she's kind of lighting up this set as well, getting the few kills really off that block. She sees where it is, and as a lefty, really good at being able to turn it a little bit more than a righty would.
Morris had the service, now the dig. And that set a little bit off target for Carter and pushed out.
Both teams really trying to use the block here. They're seeing everyone go up a little high, not as over. So a lot of times as a hitter, when you go up, you see that block. If they're not all the way pushed over, it's a really good option to swipe it off that hand. I think we're seeing people try that, just not executing as well as we'd hope.
Saw that a lot in the Olympics. I wonder if that's a carryover from the studying that went on this summer.
Definitely a lot of Olympics watching, I would say, on that Nebraska side for sure. I mean, it's one of those plays where if you're a really high IQ player, you know the game really well. You can see the block. Someone like Jordan Larson, one of the Nebraska greats, one of the USA greats, is so good at it. I would say the best in the world right now. She sees the block so well, and if you're watching her play all the time, you got to try to use it.
There's Coffey inside the middle block there. I'd say MVP of the Olympics, gold medal. Pretty good for Jordan Larson.
Pretty decent. I mean, she looked incredible all Olympics long. Loved watching her play. Obviously, one of the best players to come out of Nebraska. Maybe, one of the best players in the world. Olympics MVP. I mean, how much higher can you
get? Service ace for the Huskers and Lexi Sun. Closing in on a set 2 win, up 2.
Lexi Sun has a serve that you do not want to be behind. I mean, it's just so hard to pass. So I can imagine the K-State players scrambling a bit to try to get that up.
Timeout for Susie Fritz in Kansas State, trying to get this thing even. And Wongarantes was honored between sets, and she said that she was back here in 2018. That was the last time she was back playing with Team USA. A little bit different, pulling out the lens a little bit and just observing all the tradition that is in this building.
I mean, it's a fun building to be in. We talked to Coach Cook earlier, and I asked him, what's your favorite part of having Husker Nation back? And he right immediately said they're so tuned into the game. So they have cheers for every single player out there. They kind of develop as the season goes on, but it's fun, he said, seeing every cheer come for every different player out there, which is just a testament to how good Husker Nation is as fans.
Leah Carter flying high, Lexi Rodriguez. Maybe a new cheer coming for her, but Nebraska does touch twice. And Kansas State will not let the Huskers pull away.
Kennedy Orr's had a really good, clean match so far. You know, sometimes you see those freshman moments come out. Sometimes you get a double in there. But, I mean, other than that, Kennedy Orr has been on fire. Last night they started with the 6-2 and then went to Kennedy. But now they just have her out there, and she's doing really well.
So John Cook takes a timeout. And we will step out. Tight one in set 2. The Huskers by 1. But it's been Orr all the way tonight.
Yeah, you said they started with that 6-2, eventually just went to Orr. Had Orr start this match and transition to a 5-1, and she looks good out there. It's really hard coming in as a freshman setter, essentially like a freshman quarterback. You got to learn the entire offense, get your tempo down with your hitters, especially those middles, which is really, really difficult. And to have a freshman come in and be so dominant to start is just a testament to how incredibly good Kennedy Orr is. One of the top recruits in the nation, just showing why she is.
He's got the setup for Caffey, and Kansas State just tied it at 23 on another double.
See Orr go up, get it to Caffey, takes a little bit more off of it. Kenzie Morris tries to get that up.
We're looking for Krause, and she sneaks it in there through the back. Bring up set point for Nebraska.
Krause coming in clutch for the Huskers right now. They really got to get this point to seal it. And Krause, I mean, I'd give the ball to her again.
On their feet for set point. It's Lexi Rodriguez to tee it off. Smith handles it. Second contact. And Schwarzenbach can't get it past Morris. Bonde splits 2.
Bonde keeping them alive. We saw a scrappy play from that libero over on K-State, getting the ball up, and Bonde using that experience, knowing where Nebraska was to put it away. We got a nail-biter here.
Big-time tug-of-war. 19 ties, 7 lead changes in this set alone. Kubik got it off hands. Carter was there in the back. Easy chance for Rodriguez. Rousey over the top. And Kansas State into the net to bring up another set point for Nebraska.
See that net violation up there, just a little too far over on that push on the block. See that clip of the net. Can't do that.
Rousey with set point number 2. A little trouble with first contact, and now a free one on set point for the Huskers. Push for Kubik. She's led them all night long. And Bonde, Rousey with the up. Carter had first contact. And that's right in between, but the pancake kept it up somehow. Bonde chips it off. Rodriguez tight to the net, and Orr sends it over. Kansas State trying to stay alive. They do with Bonde.
Some really good defensive plays there on both sides. I mean, we had a hand punch, somehow a perfect egg. Only Lexi Rodriguez could do that. And we got a pancake. I mean, so many good defensive plays. Really good put down by K-State. We got a really close one here.
What was that, about 26, 24? Never mind. Well, with the back set, Rousey going to play it over. And strong block put up by Orr and Schwarzenbach. And Bonde tries again, but Kubik covers. From the back, Rousey rips it through.
I mean, who do you give it to in your moment of need? The one that is on fire tonight. Krause comes out of the back row looking like a veteran out there. I mean, it's her second collegiate match ever, and she goes in and is just firing, especially late in these sets. I mean, they're going to her as a freshman.
The international experience she got this summer seems to be paying. And in her first 2 matches, playing for the U20s, the U.S. junior national team. Kubik with a diving serve. Bonde handled it, got turned back, and that is in. But a double contact on the other side for K-State to clinch it for the Huskers. What a set.
I mean, an absolute nail-biter. If you're K-State, you want to be right in there, but Nebraska showing why they are a veteran team, just getting it done late in that.
Nebraska for the Wildcats is slowing down Maddie Kubik, hitting in the threes, hitting .333 with 9 kills on 21 swings.
Talking about that second set there, hitting .429. She's really a leader for this team, and like I said earlier, she throws in those little dinks, but she knows when to absolutely slam it. She sees the block so well in the front and out of that backcourt. What makes her so good is her volleyball IQ. Like I said, sometimes she knows when to throw in those little tips. She can see the defense so well, see where they are. If they're back on their feet, she's going to throw in a tip and really catch them off guard.
I thought you wanted me to stop pointing out the little dinks that you were talking about.
I didn't want to say it. It felt right.
Well, Nebraska behind Kubik took set 2, 26-24. And here we go with set 3. Canadior with the set for Kayla Caffey, and there's Mackenzie Morris in the back for Kansas State. Lexi Sun into the block. And Sun has it dug in the back by Lauren Hinkle. Leah Carter gets her first swing off. O'Connor's there. And Sun is turned away.
Good read by K-State side, really getting up there. Warner, knowing she's going to take it off tempo, waiting a little bit on that block before she goes up to just smack her right back in her face.
Grad transfer from Florida comes to K-State with a chance to start now. Caffey coming around, and Carter there on the block, combining with Fernholz from the middle.
Talked about that Nebraska defense earlier, but man, this K-State defense is coming alive. We saw it in the second set, but Carter, the 5'9" hitter, getting up there.
Remember, she averaged over 4 kills a set last year, and Nebraska has held her to about a kill and a half through the first 2 sets tonight. Warner played off speed. Orr was there. She had first contact, so couldn't set. Pancake from Morris. Slams it down off the block in a 3-0 start for K-State out of the intermission.
Nothing gets you more hyped up than seeing a pancake. We've seen a bunch of them tonight, but Mackenzie Morris running that down and sprawling out. Leah Carter with another veteran swing, hitting high hands. Sometimes you see those undersized hitters get up there and really use those hands to their advantage.
Kubik from the back. Well played by Hinkle. And Carter getting crafty again. We talked about the high hands going line that time.
Yeah, her volleyball IQ is kind of out of this world. I mean, she's such an all-around player, and she's only a sophomore. Last year, Big 12 Freshman of the Year, but she is a contender, I could say, by the end of her career for National Player of the Year. She is playing so well for this K-State team, and she's still so young. That's a big swing by Lexi Sun. She knows exactly where to hit it. She turns that right thumb all the way down. A really hard shot to hit, but that's what you get when you look at Lexi Sun. She can hit every single angle and hit it really hard.
And that is too strong on the service from Kennedy Orb. So 5 of the first 6 going to Kansas State. And there's Jackie Smith back to serve for the Wildcats.
there. I mean, she knows exactly where to put it when that set's off to take a little bit off of that swing and still get the ball in the court, but also in a good spot in the court.
Sometimes she just jumps too high.
When you got a high flyer, sometimes that tempo is a little hard to get. Sometimes they really just jump out of that gym.
Long way to get that set for Orr, and then Krause off the block.
I love that set from Kennedy Orr. She's moving forward, pushes that long string, meaning she's on the other side of the court, pushes it all the way back. Really hard transition from Krause, and I love that set. Veteran swing, hitting it off that block.
It's got to be dizzying as a defender. Back left, middle, and front right.
You got all the momentum going forward, so you think the blockers were going up, and then send it back and you get the kill. A little miscommunication there. Not something that Nebraska normally has, but I'm sure we won't see much more of that tonight.
It's Leah Carter back to serve. This is not something that she did early in her freshman year. She was a front row player only, and now playing all 6 rotations since the spring. Nebraska gets steady after that miscommunication you were talking about.
Yeah, and Coach Fritz touched on it earlier in the week, but Aaliyah Carter has evolved so much as a player. You know, you look at her and you see a powerful, really gifted athlete, but she also used the word tenacious. She's a relentless worker, so working her all the way around the court, still evolving her to be an offensive threat back there and to be really good defensively. We've seen her get a few key digs tonight, but she's good from the service line, good on the back line, and also really good up front, so really evolving as a really good all-around player.
They've had to peel her back sometimes, scale her back because she goes so hard. And was it touched? It was not. And the point to K-State, leading by 3. And it sounds like the green card's coming out from John Cook. Nebraska head coach looking to swing this back to the Huskers, looking for the touch at the net. But with Aaliyah Carter, you know, she says she has huge expectations for herself, the Kansas State Big 12 Freshman of the Year. Here's another look, by the way. Did Smith touch it? Or was it touched by the blockers? Right inside the antenna there.
Yeah, you don't see, sometimes you see a pinky go back, but I don't know if we saw one of those.
That might be the angle there. Let's see.
Oh.
Was there a pinky?
I'm gonna say no touch. You're gonna have to have something big to overrule that. If you're looking at the trajectory of the ball, see if there's any kind of spin on it.
If it's anything, it's just the pinky of Adams. Oh no, and Jackie Smith is there in the back reaching for that ball too. So there might have been 2 points of potential contact or no contact. It could be 0, 1, or 2.
I don't think there's any trajectory change on the ball. You got to have something kind of big to overrule it there. Touches are one of the hardest things to challenge. They're really hard to see, as we can tell right now, really hard to overrule. So we'll see how this turns out, but I don't know if there's a touch on that.
A big point for Susie Fritz in Kansas State. Remember, they didn't lead by any more than...
I mean, you don't see any ball spin off of it, which normally you do see with the touch. I don't see the pinky come back, but it might have been so slight. I'm gonna say it might hurt your pinky a bit, so she doesn't seem like she's in pain.
Didn't you miss discussing pinky touches? This is what you came for.
I mean, those teams are in their huddles right now. They know if they touched it or not. So sometimes you just want to see that reaction. Let's get the call here.
It does stand. So point Kansas State, ruled no touch.
Bit hard to overturn there.
Yeah, it was. To your point, though, that's one where it's like, all right, if you know you touched it, maybe just go to the monitor and be like, hey, save you some time.
Speed it up a bit.
I got it. We resume third set with the Schwarzenbach swing. Right into the lap of the middle, Katie Fernholz.
Love that pass from Kenzie Knuckles right there. An absolute dime, able to get that middle of the ball, and that's something that Nebraska really needed to work on, getting the middles a bit more production. They're getting so many swings tonight.
Rodriguez. Cubic dug by Morris. And that's through the back. For Bonde, she didn't get a touch on him. Kansas State by 3.
Bonde playing really, really well. She's kind of got that look in her eye, too, like, we got to go. K-State wants to win this one. They got to put the pedal down now. Really get to point 25 clean.
That is the word for them, as much as the word is edge for Nebraska.
Clean, clean.
Clean. They're starting to spread it around.
Yeah, these K-State middles really getting involved, and that's such a testament to how well K-State's passing. They're really putting in very, very good passes. A lot of dimes out there. You probably will see Nebraska pick up the service pressure a little bit. They don't have very many service errors, so you're going to see them pick up the pressure, try to get those middles as uninvolved as possible.
Middle involvement for Nebraska with Schwarzenbach. And Orr on second contact. Sent Carter sprawling. Now reload for Orr. And turn back. What a block. It's Warner on the outside.
Let's see that dig again. Really impressive by Leah Carter, and then the save by Warner eventually gets that block. I mean, she goes from crazy save to crazy block. Man, Warner's playing well tonight.
Well, you got to love that on the back to Carter with her effort to have it follow through to a point on the other end with your front row.
Yeah, and I mean, Nebraska saw that she was down, set the ball right out there, quicker tempo to try to get that block beat, but they just couldn't do it. Warner came in and said, nope.
And then a tough serve. Ace serve for the Wildcats with Adams Ka'anohi. And a timeout for Nebraska. On the road here at Devaney. Connor Runyon, Emily Eamon with you. And first Husker game day for that fan born to wear red. And they keep rolling in. More rookies.
We got 2 cute rookies right there. Oh, another one. I love baby in a hat.
The nap, what's that about?
He's like, I've had enough. Huskers are going to win, he thinks.
That was the intermission nap. They were up 2-0. So those fans are at the match, and that dog is not, but locked in. Oh, double points.
Double whammy, come on.
Double points for the baby and the dog. I guess double points for double dog.
Few good boys in there.
On the heels of National Dog Day earlier this week. Perfect ending. Don't forget to tweet us, #B1GBlockParty. And Kansas State keeps rolling on in set 3 with Haley Warner.
I mean, Haley Warner is looking so incredible. You know, she's a lefty, so a little bit harder to block, but she's new to this team, and she doesn't look new to this team. She fits in so well. She did great last night, coming in tonight, kind of heating up as we go, but where she is right now is pretty unstoppable.
First few weeks can be a little overwhelming, but I'm trying to free her up and let that mind be at ease. She's looked good tonight. So is Bonde on that other side.
Their offense is really dialed in right now. Their passing is good. They have all options available, putting a lot of stress on the Nebraska block. We're seeing a lot of touches off the hands going out of bounds. A really hard ball to defend when you have all options open for K-State. So Nebraska really has to dial in on these serves and really put them in a hard position to kind of limit the availability they have in production on offense.
Warner on the big swing. This is the largest lead of the match for K-State. And Emily, we saw the graphic just a few seconds ago. They've almost quadrupled their efficiency since the first set.
I mean, talk about quadrupling efficiency. So much of that comes from the pass and being able to have all hitters open. They're able to have that middle going, have a back row attack with Aaliyah Carter. So hard to defend, and it's really working for them in transition and in serve receive.
Kenzie Knuckles with a swing out of the back. You were looking forward to that.
One of the things I had to see today.
And sleep easy now. And that's through the back. Another Kansas State point. On the attack error from Lawnstein, Whitney Lawnstein, Waverly, Nebraska native, the freshman.
To see her in there for Sun, just trying to get a different look going. Maybe they wanted a little more change up on that outside, make it harder for K-State to defend, but you know, coming in cold, it's pretty hard to have a really good swing right away. So expect her to kind of get warmed up a bit and then really put in some good balls.
He's on the block here, and Warner goes off antenna and did get a touch. And it's 16-5 Kansas State.
You know, we talked to Coach Cook earlier and we said, how has the growth looked in the offseason? And he said, you know, I think we've done well, but I really want to see when we get punched in the face, how are we going to respond? You know, the team looks really good in practice, but when you have a match where you're down 11 points, how are you going to respond? And this is exactly what he's talking about.
And who is talking without Hames and Stivrins out there right now? And then it's got away. It's a 12-point lead in the third set.
Yeah, you have your three captains essentially out of the match right now, so who's leading this team? And we have a lot of freshmen out there, but we see those three captains on the bench, you know, really trying to be dialed in for their team. Like you said, all-American cheerleaders, but points like that you don't want to happen. You don't want serve receive balls to fall in that back line. You get the timeout from Coach Cook.
Adams Ka'onohi with another service ace, and it's 18-5. Timeout, Nebraska.
Around, but this K-State offense is coming out swinging hard.
Knuckles with a bump set for Lawnstein. And a back set for Warner, who's having a big set. But that is out, and the run is over. It stops at 11.
See if we get a touch on that play. We might have a challenge coming, but really good back set from the K-State setter right there.
Kansas State is challenging a touch on the point.
See if there was a touch on that ball from Warner.
Second, at first it sounded like he would stand, and it does not stand. It's reversed. There was a touch there. And Susie Fritz wins the challenge. And the spread widens to 19-5.
14-point deficit. I mean, if you're Nebraska right now, you just want to get a little momentum going into that fourth set. It'd be a pretty hard comeback. It can be done, but you just want to get some momentum, find your offensive rhythm a little more than they have. They got two players, and they're doing really well. We have Kaylin Meyer up front. Gets that overpass kill.
Meyer played in 5 matches in the spring. Known to her sophomore year, dumping that one back down after Morris denied her on the first try.
Yeah, Kaylin Meyer, she's just such a good athlete. She was the Nebraska Gatorade Track and Field Athlete of the Year, a really good thrower for them, and she broke the state record in discus and shot. So she's just one of those players that can do everything and is such a good presence up front in that middle.
Just your typical Nebraska hitter playing a couple of sports.
As they all do for the most part. They really get them going early and get them in a lot of sports early.
So Lexi Sun is back in the front for Nebraska. Trying to pull off a big comeback after they allowed a 12-0 run. That sticks inside for Bonde. And Kansas State closing in on their first set win of the night.
Seems like Nebraska right now at the pins isn't doing the best job of just setting up the block. We're seeing the middles a little bit late to the ball, not closing as much, and K-State's taking full advantage of it, finding those angles, hitting high, finding those hands. A really good offensive run by K-State in this third set.
Sun loaded up and sends it long.
Having Sun back in that game just brings a little more experience. You know, when the team's down, not a lot of them have dealt with this, especially those early players in Nebraska, those freshmen. They haven't dealt with a lot of loss in their career. I mean, neither has Lexi Sun, but she knows what it's like to be down and what it's like to come back. So having her in there as experience, a calming presence for them is going to be big for them just to gain some momentum going into that fourth.
On Kansas State, and it was Sun pressing at the net.
See Kayla Caffey coming back in that match. Expect her to get a ball really quickly right away. She's one of those that has been absolutely firing tonight, hitting almost 600 on the night. So if they get a good pass, expect it to go to Caffey and expect her to hit it hard and put it down.
Just in front of the white for a service ace for Kayla Akana.
Kayla Akana, one of the best servers on this team. It's something that Coach Cook said was really important in determining those libero and DS positions. Was the best servers are going to be the ones playing, and that goes for every position. But Kayla is out there because she is such a lethal server from that back line.
Leah Carter to Krause. Bump set for Sun, spinning off the block. Carter had first contact and third contact. Fits right in front of Kennedy Orr.
Really good offensive play by the K-State setter. Bringing in Leah Carter on, we call it a 31 set. So she's coming in, lynching it up, making it really hard on the Nebraska block to stay locked in and really find her on that court.
31 got Carter the kill. Kansas State 3 points away from extending the match. Middle ball and turned back off hands of Caffey. And Katie Fernholz brings Kansas State to number 23 in set 3.
Fernholz running with that tempo, just caught Kayla Caffey a little bit late right there, but I mean, amazing run from Fernholz. We've seen her coming at it tonight. With that look in her eye, she is ready to go into this fourth set.
What does that move for Katie Fernholz?
I don't know if I'd want to be across the net from her. I think I might have to look away a bit.
This is the slide for Caffey.
We've seen Nebraska's middles just really dominant and looking so good on that slide. A lot of times we haven't seen them do that as much in the past without Stivrins up there, but they're coming in and running the slide so clean and finding all of the holes in the block to put it down.
Lonnie Evans in serving. And Warner had that block committed to the big swing, and then she rolls it over the top.
Yeah, I mean, a veteran player, she's going to go out there, take her big rips like she has. Haven't seen her tip much, but that was a really good, smart tip. They're up, 13, 14 points in the match. You expect them to just come out swinging, but she said, nope, I got this one, and just tips it right over. Really smart play by Warner.
So set point number 1 for the Wildcats. Jackie Smith serves it up and serves it out. Last year for Kansas State, the split on did they win the first set versus did they not win the first set were pretty highly indicative of how the whole match went. But they're starting off on a trend where they get stronger as the match goes on in this opening weekend.
It's a new team, a new year. Every team has a new identity. This team might turn it on a little later in matches, which is what you want to do, but you got to keep that momentum going. Hopefully they're going to come out really strong in this fourth set.
And that stoic look of Katie Fernholz, not budging. Her kill sends this to set number 4. Dominating set 3 for Kansas. He said that he had to spend some extra time in the tunnel composing himself for the red-white scrimmage last weekend.
When you've been coaching as long as Coach Cook has been coaching, you would think a lot of things wouldn't surprise you. But there he is, standing in that tunnel, just soaking it all in, because it's something that this team really, really missed last season. They had a conversation of whether to, add in sound last season because it just felt so empty. So being back in a Bob Devaney Center that is just packed is so game-changing for the Huskers in all of their home games.
So we're off and rolling in set 4 after Kansas State just extended this match with a set 3 win. Opening swing for the Huskers came from Caffey. And Kansas State can't handle it.
K-State trying a little beach 1-2 right there. Pretty good dig from Morris. Aaliyah Carter tries to take it over. Might be better just setting that one, but she said, nah, I'm going to take a rip.
I'm going to break that down a little further, the beach 1-2.
So it's something we see a lot, especially the Olympics this year with our beach 2s team. I mean, typically, normally you get 3 touches, but a lot of times in beach, if you want to trick your opponent, you're going to hit it on the second ball. So what that means is you're going to pass it up and then swing right away. And it really throws the defense off because you could be going up to set, you could be going to hit. And so it's really hard for the defense to know what you're doing. And Aaliyah Carter right there looked like she really wanted to just take a rip, kind of like a beach swing, but...
The April Ross special.
The April Ross special.
Lexi Sun on the tap. And Nebraska up 1 in the 4th set. It was pretty much Kansas State all the way through. They got out to a 6-1 lead, used a 12-0 run in the 3rd set, and ran away with it.
Ran away with it. I mean, 25-11. I don't know the last time Nebraska lost by 14 points in a set. But, you know, what I can tell you is this is an experienced team. Everyone on this court is not used to losing. So they're going to come back out with a lot of fire, really be dialed in here and try to get something going offensively because they really lacked that in that set 3.
And maybe with some attention on Carter coming into the match, Haley Warner got free for team-high 5 kills in the 3rd set, and she's got kill number 1 in the 4th set for Kansas State.
She has just been a huge offensive weapon for this K-State team. We talked in the beginning about how you're going to hear Aaliyah Carter's name over and over, but I mean, Haley Warner, she has really just taken over this match, especially later, getting better and better at every set, and she's looking really, really good, that transfer from Florida.
Right in front of Maddie Kubik, and Kansas State has it even. With Haley Warner, you know, a good friend of Susie Fritz is Mary Wise, the head coach at Florida. We asked, you know, how similar are the teaching models and the terminology from what she had at Florida? Susie Fritz said, okay, we're good friends, but we're not that good of friends to talk that deeply about it. But Haley Warner has handled this pretty beautifully in her transition.
She seems like she's handled it beautifully, and Coach Fritz said when she was looking for transfers, she wanted experience to add to that young roster they had, to have a fit for their culture, and it seemed like Haley Warner was someone that came in right away, added experience, and really added to their culture.
Sun playing on that right side, had the tap fielded, and then Carter puts it down. K-State by 2. Part 2 of our triple header is coming up next. Top 10 showdown. Number 10 Baylor, number 2 Wisconsin. That match will start coming up at the top of the hour on the Fox Sports app before our network joins it at the conclusion of this one. With Nebraska in a fight with Kansas State. Wildcats trying to beat the Huskers for the first time since 2011. Hasn't happened much. Of course, this is an old school Big 12 matchup. And Nebraska has won 83 of the 87 all-time matches.
Yeah, but that one you talked about in 2011, I mean, the first time Nebraska left the conference to join the Big Ten, they beat them in the 2nd round of the NCAA tournament in K-State. That was one of the biggest wins of the K-State program, beating a team like Nebraska in that 2nd round to knock them out. And it was something that Susie Fritz talked about and being one of her favorite memories in playing Nebraska, and probably one of her favorite memories of her career.
Block up front. Led by Fernholz. That will start in the Fox Sports app once our first match of this triple header closes out. And it's a tight one right now. Kansas State has an early set 4 lead, bidding to send this to a 5-setter. Krause, Nebraska does out of the timeout. And Bonde right at Sun. And she can't play in front. And Kansas State doubling up Nebraska early set 4.
Holly Bonde so good at hitting those high hands, the high shots. She's a little bit shorter as an outside, so she's really good at using those high hands, hitting the high ball. As you see, Lexi Sun couldn't handle it above her. Holly Bonde is good at that.
Kubik with the left hand. Fernholz at the tap. Nebraska's all over it with Rodriguez. Sun out of the back. Oh, great dig by Morris. Keeps this point alive for Kansas State. Schwarzenbach had active hands. Krause on the outside, splits the bed.
They're giving that free ball, and Krause puts it away. She did so at the beginning of this match, got a little quieter, and you're seeing her come alive again. Right through that block. I mean, no defender there. She sees the court so well. Sees that middle is a little bit late to her. Makes her pay.
Kenzie Knuckles, one of the 3 captains, in to serve for the Huskers. Goes after Carter. Bonde with the tap. And Sun fading away from the back row. Or goes for Sun. 3-1 for Nebraska. Really played over on Sun's pass. Bonde into the cross court. There's Knuckles. And off antenna and down for another Kansas State point.
Really well-formed block by that K-State side. You see Kubik was a little bit late to that. They waited patiently, went up, strong hands. Not a hard block to get, but a really, really crucial one, especially in this 4th set when you're up 3 points at that time.
There's Adams Ko'anohi. We have 2 Hawaiians in tonight's match. And that one sails. We have Kele Akana from Hawaii on the Nebraska side. Setter for Kansas State is from Honolulu. Caffey rising up. Smith got to it, but no connection.
They're just having really good passes on that Nebraska side to get their middles involved. We saw that lag a little bit in that 3rd set, but once this 4th set started, they've been locked in on the pass, getting those middles back involved as they were. And we have Kayla Caffey, most kills on the Nebraska side right now. So that's just a testament to how good this Nebraska serve receive has been, and that's Sun, that's Kubik, that's especially these outsides right there, really honing in on that pass and making sure it's good to get those middles involved.
How's 588 sound with the hitting percentage for Caffey tonight? He's got 11 kills, as you said, leading the Huskers. And you've got a net call on. Both teams are right there. Didn't see it. Yeah, looks like it goes against Nebraska. Kubik thought she had the .1 for the Huskers, but it does go against the home side, Nebraska. Kubik punching it into the block, and down the net, Kaylee Hollywood shoves it home.
Hollywood looking really strong tonight. She's a veteran for this team that is really, really young, so having someone out there like her, who's not necessarily one of the most offensive players on their team, but having her is
in the back row. She's middle back there. Saw her pick up her right foot and check out the end of the play. She kind of came up jumping there at the end of it, and then looks to the bench and comes out. And then she ends up going down toward the tunnel with the trainer.
I mean, if she's out the rest of this match, it's a really big hit to this K-State team. She is the heart and soul, especially of this offense. So we'll keep an eye out for her, see if she comes back in. But without Carter, they're going to have to really rely on Warner and Bonde to kind of put a ball away.
So Kansas State with that happening a couple of points ago, still been able to build on their lead without the Big 12 Freshman of the Year from last season. Kayla Caffey unloads. Good response out of the timeout for Nebraska.
We have Ani Evans back in there, stepping right in and hitting that slide. Really hard to do when you're coming in essentially cold. So really good pass by Kayla Caffey. Just hammering it down, as she's been doing all night.
Bonday line. Akana kept it up. Kubik goes past the back. Back to Bonday. Akana one more time. Bonday with her third swing of the point, and finally a termination. And here comes Carter again, so that's good. Then it's a big sigh for Wildcats fans.
She looks like she hasn't missed a beat. She's smiling, coming back out there, ready to go. Maybe just needed a minute to check herself for a second, but checks herself back in. K-State really needs her, especially late in this match. They want to push a fifth set. They want to take the number 5 team in the country to 5.
Kansas State was the top team in the Big 12 last year that did not make the NCAA tournament. The top 2, Baylor and Texas, of course, did and made runs. But Kansas State finishing 3rd, which was the best that they had done since 2008, were just on the outside. So a resume bolstering type win potentially here if they can grab this one tonight.
Especially to start off the season. You know, you talk about how no one really wins the preseason, but this would be putting an exclamation point on the beginning of their preseason. And when you talk about making the tournament, you want to have to beat teams that are in the top 10. It's so important to have a really good RPI ranking coming into the tournament. So when you're a team like K-State finishing, you know, the top 3 of the conference, you have a Texas, a Baylor, 2 of the top teams in the country. If you're K-State, you got to knock out some of these top 25, top 5 wins in order to make that tournament late in December.
Plenty of chances, too. 8 matches this year against NCAA teams from a year ago. And the first big test tonight for the Wildcats. Warner into the cross court and past Akana. And Kansas State up by 5.
If you're Nebraska here, you just want to take a breath, let it out, nail this pass, get the ball to probably one of your middles, one of your veterans, and let them do the work.
Second contact from Evans sent Wildcats scrambling. And there's Schwarzenbach. And Warner playing at the net. Precise to that back row.
Really good swing right there from the senior, putting it back in that corner, showing why she is a veteran, why she's played for so many years. She sends it back to the corner, has a smaller defender, puts it right over her head.
Kubik coming in with some steam from the back, off the set from Evans.
Coming in with steam and looking excited. She came into that huddle fired up. She's got to get things going for this Nebraska side. And in the backcourt, it's worked out for her really well tonight. She's finding all the angles, hitting right where K-State's defense isn't. And you saw it in that one, just finishing right in front of those defenders.
Kubik had a terrific start to the night, had 9 kills through 2 sets. That was her first kill since the second set. And Nebraska is now taken 2 in a row on the net call.
If you're K-State, you got to play clean, especially when you have a lead on someone like Nebraska. You got to settle in, put the ball in the court, whether that's on the front line or the back line. You need to make sure you're getting those balls in and you're putting them in hard.
Emily, Kansas State, this may be not surprising when you hit 556 in the 3rd set. They did not have a single attack error on their way to their first set win of this match.
And it shows why they did so well. They won that set 25-11, putting in no attack errors, whereas in the first 2 sets, we saw a little bit more of that. But when they're low error, they can beat these teams. And that's the same for, you know, a lot of teams in the country, especially when you're playing one of the best teams in the country. You need to be low error.
So net call challenge for Kansas State. Checking if Nebraska was in the net or maybe a center line violation.
there's any net movement on there. Not seeing much until the ball hits it, but
I think that could have led to the reaction of maybe we should challenge it. The net is moving, but the ball was just sitting on top of the tape there for a second.
yeah, you see Lexi's son reach over. It didn't look like she clipped it then, but maybe they thought it was some movement from the ball coming out, unless they saw something that we didn't.
And as far as a potential center line violation, not much there. They're Schwarzenbach and Son, a couple inches off the center line there on the logo. So this is our third challenge. We saw one stand and then one overturned. And each team has benefited from the challenge. And this is instant replay number 3 of the night.
A bit longer challenges than we normally see. Pretty hard to see some of these angles and overturn them. It's just a bit difficult sometimes, especially when you're dealing with those net balls.
So we just got word that maybe there was a for contact call that was missed. Let's see, we had all of our attention on the center line of the net. See if we can get one more look at it. And the point goes to Nebraska on for contact call. One challenge left for Kansas State. So Susie Fritz, head coach for Kansas State, getting the explanation on what was mined from that replay. Points, so they're within 4, set 4. Nebraska trying to come back and close out this match. Warner over the top, and that's down. So with Carter back in, you've got a pretty dangerous net combination right now with Warner and Carter.
Dangerous front line up there. Warner on that opposite, Carter on the outside. You have lethal pins anywhere you want to set the ball. You can pull both blockers to the outside, set the opposite, pull both blockers to the opposite, set the outside, and you probably are going to be terminal based on how this match has gone.
Evans had a long way to run to set for Nebraska, and it did not matter for Krause.
Krause, the freshman, putting so much power behind her swings. You know, it's something that you don't see a lot of freshmen coming in and doing, just absolutely hammering on the ball. But Krause's come in, and she has just put so much momentum behind every single swing that she's had.
Overpass on the serve receive. And 3 chance for the Huskers, going back to Krause. And strong block put up by Krause and Schwarzenbach. And Nebraska starting to feel it a little bit more in set 4. So are their fans here at the Vandy Center.
Get those fans on their feet, get that block all the way out. I mean, they're using the energy that they've gained, you know, from a little pauses in the set or big points that they've had, but they're using all these points to their advantage just to try to inch back in this set.
Down by 6, now down by just 2. And here they come.
Here they come. If you're K-State, you really got to keep the pressure on them, but stay calm. You're playing in a place that you might not be able to hear your teammate next to you, but you just need to take a big breath, really let it out, and get those passes solidified. Just to get an offense going.
We talked about crescendos at the beginning of the show and the rising noise at the Vandy Center, and Susie Fritz would like the decrescendo here. Get the crowd quieted down a little bit with the freshman for Nebraska playing well again tonight. They had a strong showing in their first match last night against Colgate. And it's obviously a highly rated, nationally ranked recruiting class, #1 by most publications. And this is a look at that killer line of 6 players that John Cook brings in.
A killer line of 6 players, you know, according to Prep Volleyball. They have the 3 top prospects in the entire country. #1, I mean, they, as a class, have been ranked the #1 recruiting class in the nation, and you're seeing a lot of them get a lot of playing time, something that you probably won't see that much this year just with all the 5th years coming back, but they're using their freshmen, and they're using them really early in the season to get that experience.
And 3 of them played.
Shot to the deep corner over zone 1. Also really effective shot, and Kubik is really good at that. Really shoddy play.
There's Cappy looking shoddy.
Cappy taking some speed off. That set wasn't perfect. Talk about how high she can jump. Sometimes that tempo is just a little off, but she knows exactly when to take just a little bit of tempo off to keep the ball in the court and get a good play.
Nebraska trying to get it back within 1. Trailing most of this set. Kana with a good serve. That Carter backpedaling. And that's long, and it is a 1-point set 4.
Your K-State, you just want to keep the ball in play, make Nebraska make those errors. On your side, you want to keep it clean. And if you're Nebraska, you want to keep the offensive power on them while keeping it clean as well.
Off the tape. And Kana trying to keep the service run going. Lexi Sun with a hop into the back, and we are tied in set 4.
Lexi Sun, the veteran player for Nebraska, out of the back row, firing back there. Sometimes a bit harder than she swings in the front row. I mean, she's taking rips. Ani Evans looks pumped up.
How about Evans coming in cold, too? Not setting the first couple of sets.
Yeah, Evans coming in cold. Played last night, but didn't play for his first few sets, and she just went in there and is running this offense so smoothly.
Look out now. Kana on a 3-point serving run. Nebraska with their first lead since it was 3-2. Timeout. Listen in. 7,000 plus tonight in Lincoln.
It's one of the most fun places to play in the entire country, and you'll find that at a lot of places in the Big Ten, but the Vandy Sports Center is just so unique in that this fan base is so keyed in. They have all the same cheers. They seem to know it every single year. Their student section, absolutely electric, and then you got a lot of kids in there too, which just bring a lot of good energy. Of course, we got the masks in the building tonight, but underneath those, I mean, you got a lot of smiles.
Hey, look, Justine had her gold medal stolen. Well, that's great. Getting back in it with Big Red Nation tonight. The gold medalist, the former Husker, Justine Wong-Orantes, honored between sets earlier on tonight. And the Huskers trying to win in front of her here in this 4th set. And how about Kayla Akana, the 3-point serving run? You know, she came in as a freshman and became known as a serve thumper pretty early on in her time in the back row, a spot that Wong-Orantes used to play here.
Yeah, Kayla is such a good server. One of the reasons why she is one of their best defenders is because she is such a good server. But I want to talk about Wong-Orantes again, giving her gold medal to that young girl. It made me a little nervous.
Yeah, especially with how heavy it is.
Yeah. You said
drag you down a little bit.
3 pounds in a tiny medal. I mean,
yeah, it's no golden dollars, anything like that. It is something you can get a little fitness in with. So 4-0 scoring run. And 3 have come with the Kana at the service line. She's got first contact. Lexi Sun with a push. Morris picks out Bunday. It's Akana playing strong here late in this 4th set. Morris covering a lot of ground for K-State at the libero spot. Kubik teed off, but a block in front. And Bonde off to the tape, and no touch on the ricochet. And a point for Nebraska, up by 2. All-American floor wipers and cheerleaders.
That's what Coach Cook told us earlier. This week, Nick Lindhames and Lauren Stivrins, they're 2 of their 3 cap.
Son on third contact. Bonde cross court. Rodriguez up. And that's kept alive incredibly by the Huskers. And now it's down. The setter, Adams Kaonohi, put an end to it after a terrific start to this rally.
Let's see this energy on the bench. I mean, they are pumped up. Lost a point, but I mean, those 2 defensive plays just give you so much fire, whether or not you win the point.
Evans picks out Kubik. Tools the block.
Definitely the loudest the Devaney Center has been all night long. We see a good Nebraska run coming in, and Kubik, one of their veteran players, getting that kill, and everyone's on their feet for that one.
A few points ago, you could hear Stivrins through a crowd mic. And that's short from Kubik. Remember, if this one ends here in the 4th, we'll send you right out to the Fieldhouse in Madison for the end of the first set between Baylor and Wisconsin. Top 10 volleyball coming up in the middle match of our triple header on Big Ten Network tonight. Kansas State trying to hang on here after they've led most of this 4th set. Nebraska had led by 2. And Caffey coming straight downhill.
That is a big swing from Kayla Caffey, something we've seen all night long. It all started with that pass. Ani Evans, a little back run to Kayla Caffey, thumb down. I mean, that energy in the Devaney Center just absolutely contagious. Smiles all around, you see from Kayla Caffey on the bench right there.
Carter slices it through the back past Akana.
We're seeing a lot of balls go outside on K-State right now, and that's because Ani Evans is a little bit shorter up front. They're trying to force a lot of balls outside because the block isn't as tall.
So now the best server for Kansas State, it's Morris. Lexi Sun got a high ball and put it down.
We're seeing Ani Evans really lean on her veteran players, Kubik and Sun, getting them a lot of production right now, knowing that late in sets, they got to go to the experience.
So 2 points away from Nebraska taking the match. What does Kansas State have in a tough environment? Now down 1 after Evans sends it long. So big Nebraska win in set 1. Tight to Nebraska in set 2. K-State dominant in set 3 to extend the night. Now Jackie Smith with the service, trying to get it even. And Schwarzenbach brings up match point.
A lot of heat right there from that Nebraska middle. We don't see her swing with that much power that often, but man, she brought everything into that one, wanting to get Nebraska 1 point away from their 2nd win this season.
An electric crowd trying to get it 1 and 4 for Nebraska. Sun to serve. Nearly aced it home. Free time with a chance to win the match. Evans for Krause. Nebraska wins.
Man, are those fans pumped to be back in